What is up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Stability Sculpt. Today we are putting an extra emphasis on the hips and glutes. But if you are new to Stability Sculpt, the name of the game is form and control. We're dropping the weight, these are body weight only. We're dropping the speed of the exercises so we can build stability, build strength through a full range and sometimes even extended range of motion. The reality is that during our weightlifting workouts or higher intensity, higher impact workouts, we don't spend much time in those end range positions. And it's not just important to build balance, a balanced physique side to side, left to right, but also to build strength through a full range of motion so that you can be as explosive, as powerful, as functional as possible, not only in your workouts, but in your everyday life. So the way today's workout is going to work is I'm going to take you through a series of circuits. Each circuit will challenge your hip stability and glutes in a slightly different way. We'll do them on one side, we'll do them on the other side, we will repeat, and then we'll summarize, finalize each circuit with a little flow, a little something to kind of challenge what we just did for a total of 25 minutes. All you'll need for today's workout is yourself, your body, a bit of room to move around, and that is it. So if you're ready to get started, make sure to shoot me a thumbs up and let's get into it. Getting into our starting position, we're going to be starting with a lunge-based circuit. So turning to the side, I want your feet shoulder width apart, shifting the weight to the right leg. Instead of doing a regular reverse lunge, we're going to be kicking things off with an extended reverse lunge. So instead of doing this, as you put on a normal reverse lunge, what I want you to do is maximize the air time of that left leg that's stepping back. So as we lift, we're going to lift, sit back at the hips, make sure we're stabilizing side to side through the hips. Keep hinging back, reach as far as you can, whatever's in your range. Keeping that nice forward lean, lunge it down, bring it back up. Okay, so remember, stay within your range, whatever's doable for you. So that's the first one. Coming out of that bottom position, our next exercise will be opening to a wide squat, going from here to here, to here, to here. From there, we're going to again come from our end position. Nice lateral squat for me, getting as low as you can, always staying within your range. Then out of that, we're going to come into a knee drop. Okay, I'm going to continue explaining these as we go, but for now, let's get into our starting position for that extended reverse lunge. All right, lift the leg, sit back at the hips, maximize that air time with me, remembering to stay within your range, which may be like mine, maybe a little shorter, maybe a little bit longer. Focus on that hip stability, sitting back at the hips, as well as keeping them even side to side. Complete your current rep if you need to. Remember, we're going to come out of this position at the bottom, open with that back knee to a nice wide squat. Wiggling your feet if you need to adjust, because from here, we're going from the wide squat, drop the knee back in, from here to here. Keeping a nice upright posture, making sure to keep that core tight and control your hips. Complete your current rep. Remember, we're going to start our next exercise from this position, so adjust if you need to, then going right into that lateral squat, getting as deep as you can within your range of motion. Remember, there's no rush. We're going to be going to our next exercise from this bottom of the lateral squat position. So I'll give you a second to get here if you need to. Now we're going to sit our weight back, first onto the calf, then onto the back side of your thigh. As we let this knee come down, tap the ground, use your glute to rotate that hip back out. Now we're going to reach forward, shift our weight forward with the arms to come back up. Okay, repeating just like that. So controlling it down to the side, shifting the weight back onto the back side of your thigh, drop the knee, bring the knee open. Now rock that weight back forward with me and repeat. Finish this rep with me. Then what we're gonna do to finish off this side is combine all of those exercises into a flow. So walk it back to the edge of the mat, starting with that extended reverse lunge. So hover it up, sit it back, step it back, down into the lunge. Open with the back knee, bring it up, lateral squat as low as you can. From here, we're shifting the weight back, bringing the knee down, and reversing, and repeating, just like that. Dropping the knee, returning to our starting position. Do your best. There's no rush. Just stay with me here. Finish the flow that you're currently on. Then I want you to stand it up, turn to the other side, because we've got just about 10 seconds before we repeat what we just did on the right side, on the left side. All right? Because we are off, starting with that extended reverse lunge. All right, from there, remember, we're going to start from the bottom of this extended lunge position. We're going to open with that back knee to our wide squat. Wiggle your feet if you need to. And then we're alternating from here to here to here, just like that. From the bottom position here, we're going to come back up to that wide squat. Adjust if you need to, because now we're lowering into a lateral squat on the other side. So as low as you can, staying within your range. Squatting it to the side. Lower it down into one more rep. Remember, we're going from this bottom position, so I'll give you a second to get here. Then from here, we're going to rock our weight back, drop the knee down, open the knee up, shift that weight forward, and return to our wide squat position. So from here, down, sit the weight back, controlling your lower, drop the knee, using this glute to rotate that hip out, and then rock your weight back up. All right, what I want you to do is walk it to the end of your mat. We're gonna flow together all the exercises we just did on this side. So, starting with that extended reverse lunge. Stepping it back, dropping it down. Opening through the back knee to the squat, up, lateral squat as low as you can go. Shift the weight. Drop the knee, use the glute to open through that hip, shift your weight forward, up, drop into the squat, bring that knee back, step it to your starting position. So repeat just like that with me, hovering that right foot up, big extended reverse lunge back, bend the knee, open that back knee, bring it up into the lateral squat, shifting your weight back, knee drops to the ground, knee opens up, and we're rocking forward. Repeating with me a couple more times. Finish this rep with me. Woo! If you get a little stuck, give yourself a boost. Bring it back up because we've now got a minute 30 before we go into our next circuit. So, rotating it the other way. Let's straighten out our mat if we need to right now. Grab a quick towel or tissue because what we're going to be doing for our next circuit is starting with, on the left leg, a standing hip hike. So bend the right leg up, hold onto a wall if you need to. We're going to drop the right hip. So right hip goes down, left hip comes up. Feel a stretch in this glute. Now what I want you to do is think of thrusting your hips forward to even the glutes out. So it's down and up, and down and up. Second exercise is going to be a forward stepping hinge with hip drop. So what we're going to do from here is sitting back at the hips, having that right leg forward, hinge, drop the hips, similar to what we just did, bring it back up, stand up. One more time, hips go back, right leg goes forward, drop the hip, lift the hip, return. Next exercise will be a low step over. So get down to a ready position with me. Step that right leg up and over as if there's a box there. Final exercise will be a back stepping hinge with hip drop. So stepping it back, drop the hip, level the hip, bring it back. I'll repeat this as we go, but for now let's start with that standing hip hike.
sunshine. Are you playing? Spotlight from my heart. Sunshine. Are you playing? Spotlight from my heart. Sunshine. Are you playing?
All right, from there into the forward stepping hinge. So with me, what I want you to do is arms either here or up here. We're sitting back at the hips. Right leg is going forward, hinging forward. Now drop that right hip. So right hip goes down, left hip goes up. Now push through that left glute to level the hips, then bring it back up. Okay, keeping your arms wherever you're comfortable. And if you want, try putting your arms on your hips to just remind you, we're pushing the right one down, and we're pushing the left one down to even them, and then we're coming back up.
Spotlight from my heart. Sunshine. My dad. Are you playing? I just hope it makes some sense.
From there, getting into that nice ready stance for the low step over. So keeping the knees bent, slight bend back at the hips, waves on the left leg, and we're stepping over an invisible box. Working to keep those hips as steady, as stable, and as level as possible. Make sure you don't get stiff through that left hip. I want you keeping the hip back. Your glutes are gonna be burning. The hip stabilizers are gonna be burning. Next into the back stepping hinge with hip drop. So again, keeping your hands on your hips if you want. This time we're stepping back. So back at the hips, step it back. You don't have to go too far. Drop the right hip, left hip comes up. Squeeze that left glute to level the hips. Then bring it back up. And repeat with me. Just like that. All right, from there we're gonna flow all those exercises together. So starting with the standing hip hike, either using a support or not, we're gonna start with the right leg up. Drop the right hip, lift the glute. Then what we're gonna do is push down through that left glute to level. From here, if you can, keeping that foot hovering into the forward stepping hinge. Drop the right hip, lift the left. Push down through that left glute to level, up. Now here's that step over, right into the back stepping hinge. Drop the right hip, push down through the left to level, back to starting, touch the foot down. If you can do this all without that right foot touching until the end, I'm gonna be very impressed. So hip hike, here we go. Forward stepping hinge. Up and over. It's okay if you need to use the support. Touch that foot down, drop the right, push through the left, and repeat. Remember, it's okay if you need to use a wall or a chair or some other support. We can work up to being more stable. All right, like that, we have 15 seconds to go over to the other side. So I'm gonna turn around with me, straighten your mat if you need to quickly, because we're gonna repeat that now on the right side, starting with that hip hike, using the wall as a support if you need to, because we are off. Dropping the left hip, sitting into the right glute. Now pushing through that right glute to level, just like that. Really put your weight into this hip, into this glute, feel the stretch. Squeeze that glute forward. All right into that forward stepping hinge, so keeping your hands on your hips if you want. Sitting back at the hips, extending forward with that left leg this time. So back at the hips, dropping the left hip, lifting the right. Now pushing down through that right hip to level and bring it back. Repeating from here. Completing your rep, now getting into that ready position, staying nice and low with those hips back, weight on the right leg, stepping over the invisible box. Remember, there is no rush here, quality over quantity. If you need to adjust, if you get a cramp, that's okay. My hip just cramped up a little bit. Right back into it. All right, from there we're going into the back stepping hinge, so hands on your hips again if you want. Sitting back, this time stepping back with the left leg. Planting that toe down. Drop the left hip, lift the right, push the right glute down to level, bring it back, and repeat. So shifting back, drop the left, lift the right, push down through that right hip to level and return to the starting position. All right, as a reminder, we're now gonna flow together everything we just did on the right side. So starting with that hip hike, either using the support or not. If you wanna challenge yourself, try to do this all without touching that left foot down until we get to the back stepping hinge. So sit into the right hip, press that glute down, hands on the hips, forward stepping hinge. Drop the hip, lift the hip, back up, touching down if you need to, into the back stepping hinge. And repeat. If you need a support, that is okay. We can work up to doing this unsupported. Step it over and step it back. All right, and like that, you have made it through another stability sculpt. I don't know what happened. I think I must have left on the heat in the house during this one because I have been sweating buckets. I don't know if it's from the workout or just the sheer focus I needed to maintain my balance, but hopefully you enjoyed this workout. If you did, definitely shoot me a thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite exercise or your favorite sequence was in the comment section down below. I actually really liked, and I didn't think this would be my favorite, but I really liked how the extended reverse lunge felt because I haven't done something like that in a while, and just like the sheer stability it took as you're kind of sitting back, hovering, and then reaching to plant the foot. I found that really challenging. I found it kind of different. So I really liked that one. Let me know what you liked in the comment section down below. I always love working out with you. I'm always grateful to work out with you, and I can't wait for our next workout together.